what do you think that the impact of the past few days and what we've heard has come out of the Philippines and Typhoon Haiyan, what does that tell us about the need to prepare for disasters in the future?
It gives a clear kind of indication that climate change has a severe impact to uh, livelihoods or even increasing trends of disasters. And we could see all this intensity and magnitude of disasters have been increasing quite frequently. And Philippines, when we see, basically, it is kind of high intensity typhoon, and in many cases, managing disasters really requires more wider kind of thinking as well. Philippine Red Cross, as well as International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent societies, have been providing support to people, those who are affected by typhoon, basically providing shelter support and drinking water and sanitation, and even rescuing people, providing search and rescue services. That has been going on in the field.
And when you look at the situation in the Philippines, and then you look at the situation in Nepal, where you're also facing your own climate impacts, what are you doing to prepare communities, either up in the Himalaya or down on the Terai, to cope with changing weather patterns?
Definitely, the topography of Philippines and Nepal are quite different, and we don't have cyclone or typhoon, but still we do have many disasters: flood, landslide, fire, avalanches, and glacier lake outburst, floods, earthquake. These are the major disaster events, and every year more than 10,000 families are affected by small scale disasters. Then when we see dynamics of climate change, Nepal has been considered one of the fifth country which has been facing climate change impact. Although Nepal's contribution to greenhouse gas emission is very, very negligible. And what we have been observing or experiencing is that unpredictable kind of disaster events are happening. We used to have rain during rainy season, but this time we cannot predict. Many cases we have early monsoon, delay monsoon, and very intense rainfall. Likewise, landslides or fire events and droughts, where we have been experiencing in many parts of country as well. That's why some places we have been experiencing huge quantity of rainfall, but at the same time, other part of country drought. So considering all these facts, we, Red Cross Movement, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, working to contribute to reduce the risk of humanitarian consequences of climate change, basically. So we strongly believe that both climate change adaptation and mitigation, as well as disaster risk reduction, should go together, hands in hand. Without or unless and until we build community capacity, it is very difficult to respond to the situation or reduce the risk. That's why we strongly believe there should be kind of working mechanism where we could provide knowledge and awareness, like in COP18 has clearly identified, Article 6 has said, focusing on awareness building or capacity building, so that local people are aware, and information that have been generated by technical institutions could also link to the local people. And Red Cross can play a vital role, since it has massive number of volunteers. More than 100 million volunteers are throughout the globe. And there are 187 nation societies who have been working and trying to address humanitarian consequences of climate change. That's why we strongly feel Red Cross could play a significant role in this endeavor, where science, technology, and community level institutions, organizations should work together. And for that, Nepal Red Cross has been contributing and working with the government authorities and others. Basically, we have been working together with government. It's like developing national level plans or local level plans, as well as NAPs, and we are part of this process. And in many cases, we have been also working with technical institutions in order to establish early warning system, Basically, in many flood-prone areas, you might have heard in 2008 Kosi flood, where a huge, massive number of people were affected by flood. So what we want to do is that getting all the technical information, our forecasting, projections, and reaching to the community people so that we can save lives and property of those vulnerable who are living in downstream communities.